But before we discuss great taste in AI, let's quickly discuss what is great taste in products means. Apple versus Samsung. You think what made Apple so successful here? They realized that phone is very personal to people. It's an accessory. You carry it all the time. It's a signaling piece as well, which is right in front of every other company on planet Earth. But unless Apple showed it to them, nobody realized that phone can be the status symbol. And that's because of that taste thing. Same, it doesn't mean that only consumer products needs to have great taste. You look at AWS and Windows Server. Here comes AWS. They say, here is our servers. You can actually rent them and pay as you go, scale up and down, and support for everyone, not just the elites of the world. One cool point is that I meet you where you are. Rather than telling you, I am so cool and this is so hard that you have to change your behavior, that's never works. I already browse internet. I already check VNC servers to restart my test. Why can't you come and give me that on my phone? So what is the framework of finding or doing great design? Number one, go and understand. Diagnose the world, understand the industry, understand the technology, then identify what are the levers that are going to make the maximum impact, and then go and execute. When you execute, you should be able to get results with speed. Let's apply this framework to AI. What does it mean in AI? Good morning, then. Let's get started. By the way, if you are here for the first time, hi, my name is Mahesh. I have worked in all big companies, but more important is that I have worked in 10 years in AI. The first thing I built was a Vision AI dev kit, a small camera, which can which can process AI on the edge.
Yeah,
That was in
get ready.
2018. So that's what I did at Microsoft. And then I went and said, how can we build a factory AI? How can we take what we build with this camera, but actually scale it to every company with a lot of camera streams? That was my first foray into bringing AI to enterprises or making it easy for enterprises to adopt AI. That was 2020. And from there, I did a few presentations at Build. That's where Facebook came to know about me. This is the first time in 10 years I was looking for a job. I did a conference and they contacted me, and I wanted to do large scale training. That was cool in 2021 because inference was not cool. Inference is when you use these models, training is when you build these models. So I was like, okay, I get to do that. And they gave me everything on the largest training stack at that time on planet Earth. And I was in charge of training or scaling their training clusters from billion to trillion parameter. This is pre-ChatGPT. I did that. I built PyTorch. I built first distributed PyTorch libraries, wholly sharded data parallel, distributed data parallel. And then I went to AWS because they wanted to monetize large language models. By this time, ChatGPT has arrived and they wanted to build Comprehend and Bedrock after that. So I worked in Comprehend and Bedrock in AWS. These are services which allow you to analyze text. And Bedrock is a platform at this point which allows you to host large language models and offer that as a service. So if you want to use Claude at AWS, it's the Bedrock, that's the service. At Bedrock, I also built the first agentic framework. This was early 2023, 2024. And we built the first agentic framework, launched it before OpenAI in July. And that's what I get to do. And then I was helping others to build agents using that framework. And then I was like, okay, it's not fun to build the platform. Let me go and build an end-to-end way to get to actually automate the whole back office using AI. And that's what I did at Google, where I worked in Google's business operations team. And there I automated their back office of GCP. So build agents for support, legal, accounting, finance. So that was my life so far. I left Google last year to build this community and show up here every Friday. So I need not to worry about my boss bothering me. That's one reason, of course. The other reason is that I want to build a company which build autonomous back office. So imagine a turnkey back office where you can get unlimited legal, accounting, finance, all the boring stuff that you don't want to do. How can I have it? We have AI agents doing those things. We're starting with augmenting current agents, current humans with agents. But idea is that this should be autonomous. So that's me. If you're here for the first time, then you can be invited to all my community sessions and get a newsletter that we publish every week, which summarizes all the things that are happening to make sure that you stay up to date in AI. To get that, you can actually go and scan this and fill a small form with two things only, and we will invite you to everything we are doing. Let's actually look at the agenda. We're talking about great taste. I think this has become a major topic or a big differentiator in AI. That how can you build as a product manager great taste in AI? And it has many meanings. I will give you my definitions and I will give you my secrets, what I have learned all across working in AI. And I have seen a lot of products fail because of bad taste. And what does that taste mean in AI is my job today. You can have like your own product intuitions and your taste intuitions, but I'm going to add the AI flavor to it and tell you like how I think about it and how can you build it. Okay, that's pretty much 3 points we're going to land today. First, we understand what does AI first products or great taste in AI means. Then we will look at this framework on how to actually build products with great taste. And then I will give you a few examples of how building that means. But before we discuss great taste in AI, let's quickly discuss what is great taste in products means, or what is my definition of great taste in AI products. Let me give you this example, right? So what happened is ChatGPT came out and I was at AWS then. And I went back and we used to discuss a lot of other things. So one of my friend dropped by. She worked at Google then, and I was at AWS. And I was showing her like this future that can be the big deal. And she has not seen ChatGPT yet. I was showing her this, and then I was showing Bing because at that time, what happened is Microsoft has a only exclusive access to ChatGPT models, and that was the only model which can do Q&A. Like this experience of actually chatting with a machine, and which makes you feel like human. You touch it, talking to a human, and it's answering your questions, and you can go on multiple turns was very new and novel at that time. And I showed it with ChatGPT. This is 2 days, I think 3 weeks later, they released Bing. And now ChatGPT had limits at that time. So you can ask questions, but after it, sometime it would say, hey, we are down, you're done for the day, because obviously they were worried about their servers. And then you can go to Bing, and Bing gave you unlimited Q&A. And that time we looked at Bing, and I don't know how many of you remember that experience of using Bing at that time to get Q&A. And that's the only search engine which can actually, you can run anywhere in the world and actually do Q&A, which you can do in ChatGPT, but unlimited kind of Q&A. And Bing had it, and had it 6 months before anybody else could actually come and build Q&A. So Anthropic will release Claude 6 months, 9 months later. And I don't want to name the company, but there was another company at the time which actually took the same model from OpenAI and build a new company or build this new interface. And they became a $21 billion company. But Bing could not get into double-digit market share. It's like it was less than 10% of the market share in search. And even with that kind of power or that kind of differentiated technology on their exclusive rights and be the first mover advantage in that space, could not crack it. And I think the main challenge was the taste in the product. Can you name the other company with the taste?
Perplexity.
21 billion. Great.
Perplexity.
Great. Perplexity is the right answer. So Perplexity at that time, what they did is they built what ChatGPT was not doing. And I will talk about these things as we go along. While Bing, if you wanted to go to Bing and do this Q&A, they first wanted you to install Internet Explorer. Then they wanted to install another plugin. And then after 30 minutes, you get to do something with it. And it looked exactly same or less accurate than what you got at ChatGPT. And that was the reason, even if it was free and people landed there, it didn't got, or people were just waiting for somebody to come and take over. Or they will go back to ChatGPT and sleep and say, I will come back tomorrow and ask my question tomorrow. So that's the kind of impact taste creates in products. And it cannot be just look and feel. It's always something more. And I have these 3 core tenets, which I have learned across my journey, especially building tech-based products across infra, application, and now agentic applications. On storage, we all had this problem What was the problem in 2010s? Anybody here from that old times? 2006? Yahoo Mail, Yahoo Chat, ASL. Anybody remember those days? You go to this
Yep.
cafe and the first thing you write in a chat box is ASL.
Yep.
No, 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 not
Yes.
okay. One person like me in the universe. And then you have like 10 windows open, and then you write ASL, ASL on all of them. And then you look for that something interesting, and then you chat with that. That was Yahoo, the largest internet company. But they missed on one thing, which was their Gmail. You have to clean your Gmail every 7 days. But there was one new technology. There was a bet on storage, that storage is going to be cheap, and anybody can afford to have 10 GB of storage, and a company can afford to provide that for free. That's one differentiator that made Gmail so popular, or let them win the race. That I termed that as a taste at that point. Those guys figured that out and said, here is our product, and then imbued the design and other things. But why would people leave Yahoo Mail, which they have given to 5,000 of their friends at this point, and come to this place and have fun with Yahoo Mail? Like, leave this and go and do this is because of this one reason, like we were discussing with Perplexity. For the same reason, you saw this Apple, somebody said, and Apple versus Samsung. You think what made Apple so successful here? It's
Ease
not
of
one
use.
thing. It's a ease of use. Yes, ease of use
Design,
and an awesome
Great
ecosystem.
UI.
design.
So they solved
Yeah.
three problems, which were they were able to diagnose and find three core problems in the current ecosystem of BlackBerry or these browser-based phones that nobody else looked at, which
User
is
interface.
one, people wanted to have music. They wanted to have apps which they can touch, feel, which is the user interface you are talking about. First, they built the user interface, but then they went and said, whatever you do on your computer, you can do here on the phone. That is a new wave. Now you can't live without it. My iPhone movement was not because of its awesome design. I never get impressed with. I have a dumb mindset. It's very hard for people to take money from me just designing good stuff. It has to work. And I remember my friend, we put something for testing, and it was overnight thing. And then we went for dinner. And what used to happen is by the time we come back, some test will stop and we have to restart, and we have lost these 2 hours. And what he was able to do is he was able to VNC from his phone to the machine and reboot his test stack. And I was like, this phone just returned him 2 hours. And that's the interface on a phone that with fingers, you can do the work that only needed a laptop and a big machine and a keyboard and a mouse. But now all that can be done on a phone because they build a bigger enough screen. And on the screen, there was touch all around. And then there was apps which, like VNC in this case. And all that happened in 2010. When they released it, all that was ready for my friend to go show this to me, which was a browser. And on a browser, he can go to VNC, and the browser actually worked like it could have worked on a main computer. And it was in his pocket. No brainer for me to get an iPhone. I was like, okay, can't live without it. Saves me 2 hours. That's it. And then obviously, you saw that they realized that phone is very personal to people. It's an accessory. You carry it all the time. It's a signaling piece as well, which is right in front of every other company on planet Earth. But unless Apple showed it to them, nobody realized that that phone can be the status symbol. And then they reproduced that to watch and everything. But the phone became this ID thing, and we did the same with Surface. We spent a lot on ID than the hardware when we built Surface for the first time. But all this combined together was a compelling proposition for people to leave whatever they were doing with their Blackberries or their Android or others. Android came later, but the Nokia was a big deal then. And that's because of that taste thing. Same, it doesn't mean that only consumer products needs to have great taste. This is the next example, which is you look at AWS and Windows Server. Plain sight, you want to do something in life, you want to build a website, you want to scale that website, go get a Windows server. Oh, where will I put this server? Oh, you need a server room. Oh, you need air conditioning for it. Oh, best of luck building a company. And something behind the scenes was changing. There was internet. People ready to build companies. It was easy to build websites. It was easy to distribute those websites. It's easy to build anything. but it's very hard to host it because you need Windows servers and you need an IT team to manage it. Here comes AWS. They have a problem, by the way. They have bought a lot of these Windows servers and they don't know how to use them all the time because Amazon.com doesn't have all the traffic all the time. Traffic peaks, traffic slows, but they have to plan for peak. So they have a lot of compute, storage, and networking sitting around across the world for free. They're trying to solve their utilization problem. But how they solve it is they say, here is our servers. You can actually rent them and pay as you go, scale up and down, and support for everyone, not just the elites of the world. I was listening to Satya the other day, and he said that when we went to Azure, the biggest challenge for us is losing on Windows Server business and going from a high margin business of Windows Server and Windows to a low margin business of Azure. But when they pivoted, the thing that they never realized it that Azure opened up 3x or 4x more opportunities because now anybody in a country like India, Philippines can actually spin a server and get something done, pay us without us going and supporting this whole support infrastructure. And the demand of that overpowered the losses we have because of low margin business. And that's why from 2013 to 2023, you have seen that 10x increase in Microsoft stock. But what is in AI, right? Okay, then that's great. What are if I gave you like 3 or 4 examples, but if you have to take out tenants of great taste in tech products, what is it? One, always you see that there is a pain that is already there and people have started getting used to that pain because they think this is how the world is. Phones should not look beautiful. If you want to scale, you have to raise money and get a server. If you want to send emails for free, you have to clean your mailbox every week or you pay. These are all the pain points that was there. And somehow people have took those pain points and actually sold them as feature, whether you call them pay as they go, whether you call them the design that actually revolutionized the world, or all of them also have some kind of new technology underneath that they are able to ride the wave with. Gmail, it was storage getting cheaper every 6 months. With Amazon, it was internet and ability to distribute things on internet and ability to have servers and then have virtualization. Without virtualization, it was impossible for them to scale that, but they had virtualization solved at that point, which is I can have one hardware and sell it to many people with different virtual servers, virtual VMs. And all of them met their users where they are. Instead of telling them to come to the world, which is the Bings of the world, that come to Internet Explorer, do this, and then you can actually ask a question. They didn't do that. Perplexity said, wherever the browser is, here we are free. You can use more credits than ChatGPT. Anybody could have built that, but building that with a great taste, with a great experience, but underneath, one cool point is that I meet you where you are. Rather than telling you, I am so cool and this is so hard that you have to change your behavior, that's never works. I already browse internet. I already check VNC servers to restart my test. Why can't you come and give me that on my phone? Oh, but that's very hard. Okay, you don't do hard things. Why would I do hard things of buying Apple? So these are the tenets of great design that you will see all along, or I have seen all along in my experiences. So what is the framework of finding or doing great design? Number one, go and understand, diagnose the world, understand the industry, understand the technology, understand the users using that technology. You have to do deep insight and do a diagnosis. Then identify what are the levers that are going to make the maximum impact. For iPhone, it was the industrial design. And then on top of it, like the design and the hardware which can support it. And top of that, there was apps. And then they had a music, which is their own moat. Nobody can compete on them because they spend a lot of time getting iPods out there. And then go and execute. When you execute, you should be able to get results with speed. In the Perplexity story, nobody talks about is the speed of execution that Perplexity brings to life. You release anything, you release deep research. Next day, they will give you an API because because OpenAI doesn't give you API to do deep research, but Perplexity will give you. You do anything and Perplexity will do it faster than anybody else. you should have all three, but two will make you dangerous also. So make sure that you are able to do that in your stories when you're talking to your customers, your managers, or even your interviewers. Can you tell me three stories where you were able to understand, identify, and execute in a new space and bring new users? That's what I'm looking for. Okay, then let's apply this framework to AI. What does it mean in AI? What are the challenges? All of us have done deep diagnosis in AI. Give me challenges. I gave you accuracy. Can you give me two more? What is the problem in building AI products today? Or what is the problems with current AI products? Accuracy is directly proportional to trust. Okay, cost. I give you that. Okay. Yeah, the ROI. There is a discussion on ROI. Yes, I can do a lot with AI.
Pricing,
Yes, I can set up pricing and cost. Yes, I can set up audio models everywhere and start calling people. And yes, that solves one problem. But calling and multimodal models are 10x, 100x more expensive. Retention, accuracy and trust, explainability and trust.
Building
Context. Without context, it doesn't work. Brings the accuracy and trust.
To scale.
It's very hard. I got one more I'm looking for. I think all of you have nailed all my diagnoses. So all of you are experts. Pat them on yourself and
evals,
say,
evals,
non-deterministic nature of
evals.
answers.
Everyone can build.
Data.
It's very hard to get
To
adoption.
scale.
In AI, we have built a lot of stuff. Anybody can build anything, but retaining is a challenge. So adoption means continuous, or I should say retention. You can get initial things, but then sustaining them is hard. If you think that's not a problem, talk to people at Lovable. Talk to people, whoever has gone viral and gone from X to Y. Even Perplexity has to solve that problem every month. It's like retaining their users because they keep flying left and right. So how are you going to accurately build the trust with the users and then make them stick to you? Another thing that has happened in AI is that this idea that you can't just do Q&A. We are doing long horizon tasks. It takes like 30 minutes to solve a problem. But how are you going to engage your users? There is a problem there. And if you're going to just say, hey, answering it, working on it, maybe they will leave you because they don't expect that. They thought it's 2 minutes. They came here for a quick fix. And then you have cost versus ROI, which most of you turn. So these are the main buckets, and accuracy is your trust bucket. I put trust in accuracy. I also put how and what you do, like multiple iterations also in accuracy. Okay, now you know challenges. How are you going to solve these challenges with great design or great taste? That's where you bring difference. Anybody, if I would have asked this to any school-going kids, they would have answered the same way, by the way. They would have told me 2 or 3 problems at this point. What I'm looking for when you come to interview with me or when you go and interview anywhere, people are looking for stories where you have went ahead and solved these problems with great taste. What does that mean? What can you do in your design that brings great taste or solve for these problems? If you want to solve accuracy or trust problem, bring your evaluations first. Make sure you're evaluating more than anybody else. Make sure those numbers are up on your head and you are telling in your stories. When I went into this company, I looked at this product. It was an awesome support chatbot, but then I brought the top 100 queries. I got the SME and the accuracy was 50%. And then to show a chart, and I got it to 93%. And I'm evaluating across our top 80% of customers with thousands of iterations. And I change these month on month, and my bar is at 80%. And that's how I'm bringing trust one way. Don't even answer questions. Great AI products cite where they got the answer. So as a user, I can go and verify my answers. Great AI products don't even stop at evaluating and citations of everything they do. They go and get user data to go and pre-train and post-train their stuff so that they can go and build the trust needed or the quality needed or the signal that I'm a high quality product comes in AI by evaluations, citations, and reasoning. Let me give you an example because examples are more fun. This is the tool. This is the tool, obviously, I built. This is the tool used by back office lawyers to find or extract whatever is needed by their sister teams in compliance, project management, or downstream accounting. A contract or a lease has a lot of things which your account teams need to bill your customers. Yes, you can find those in 5 minutes. Now you can upload your lease and I can extract that. But I don't only extract it, I go and cite it where I got it from. And when I cite it, I try to get you where I got it from exactly. Then I can justify and tell you more if you want to know how I got to this, why I'm saying this number is right, where what I am reading. No human does that, by the way. If you ask them, they are like, they will tell you some things, but they won't tell you everything. So it's saying that this was the price, 88 square foot. I have taken this and I have multiplied it to get you that number. Now I can trust it. But that number is not written in the lease anywhere. So if I search for it, it's not there, but it's telling me that, hey, I got this per square feet and this was the total size. And then I did the multiplication and that's how I got to this, which is it's not only extracting, it's doing the work for me and I can verify it. So that's one way. But then if I'm wrong, then what happens? The user can file a bug, can come tell me, no, user can just edit it here. Say, hey, this is the clause, this is the value, and I can go and change that value. And when they do that, I got the data I need to train, or this is a signal behind the scenes for our system to say, we have gone wrong, looked at what we did, we have the reasoning, we have all the traces behind the scenes, and we take these samples and we train our model every day, ideally every week, because it costs a lot. But then you can't go away from me. This is high signal. And when you do it, I will also monitor it and say, hey, yes, it was changed. And yes, you can track it, my mistakes too. It says tailored by you. So if anybody does changes and then they say it's AI which is screwing up, I can go and tell this audit trail, which says, no, sorry, you changed it. And I also log who changed it. So I can give this trace. That's what it takes to build the first piece, just the accuracy and trust in your systems. Okay, you got the accuracy and trust. So I want to see your stories where if you're talking about AI and you're telling about your AI stories, I want to see these three things that, hey, when I went in, the accuracy was bad. I improved it by bringing in evaluations, improving the citation and the quality of citation so the people trust it. And then I got the user feedback in a way that we can continuously improve. Okay. How are you going to retain your customers? The customers are not going to come to our website and, give us this. They are not going to learn this new user interface. You think it's cool. Yes, you cite and all that. They have a contract. They need the values. That's it. Simple math. And how they do it today? They send an email to some clerk down the stream and the clerk gives them these values in an Excel file. So if you're going to give this and say, I'm so cool and spend your time and tailor it and all that, that's not going to cut it. So what we did is we integrated it to Gmail. They can send this lease and we respond back with these terms. We give the link. If you want to verify, you can verify here. And we give the list of the terms we didn't find. If they think those are supposed to be here, then they can come in and edit these and work with us. But it's integrated in Gmail. And that's not enough, by the way. So what we did is we went one step ahead and we said every time it is signed in DocuSign, we automatically process it and then give you this Excel file in your email. So now we're one step ahead of what a human used to do in the office, because first somebody signs it on DocuSign, then I have to send this email. But because I have an AI agent, I have integration to their emails. I can read whenever an email comes from DocuSign that your contract is signed or your lease is signed. I can extract these things and send it to the person to approve and then insert it into HubSpot or ServiceNow. So I am doing all this. The moment I start doing all this, nobody can take me out. I'm done. Now they are dependent on me. You say, Mahesh, the legal graph we don't need legal graph because they have a little bit accuracy problem. In the audits, we found 3 problems. Before this, we have audit, a human need to approve it. But then they are like, oh, but I need to send that email and wait 3 days. These guys were just sending me for review and it was done in like 4 hours. Let's keep them. That's how you retain your customers. It's all the integration game. And here I want a story from all of you that how you retain your customers and solved by integrations. And give me the magic of AI by doing this story of this DocuSign integration allows me to take away these 7 manual steps and give magic to my customers. That's the magic of Apple, right? You open this, click a button, and your cab arrives. Magic of Apple plus Uber plus a lot of things behind the scenes. But that's the magic the customer expects. And once they have it, it's almost impossible to call a taxi driver anymore. You need to search, they won't pick up, you need to make 3 calls. Even if you get a cheaper rate from them, it's just impossible. Okay, then. Context, fine-tune, and then pre-train. Make sure that your data is getting used and your data is gone to the context, to the fine-tuning, and then you have to go pre-train. This is how you allow your users to stick with you. And the last one is the ROI challenge. How are you going to solve that? Design your products with layers on them. First, solve clerk level intelligence and people you will pay for it. And you can replace clerks, which are not that expensive today. But your AI may not be as expensive as well because you're solving for basic problems. As the AI improves, you can start giving risks in contract, not just extraction from contracts. And risk is the lawyer level job or cross-referencing contracts from one another. And then you can do what no human can do today, which is look at all the cases in a Supreme Court for given a case and come up with an argument, which is a superhuman skill, even for best lawyers in the world, because they have a team of 20 lawyers which work for 3 months and still doesn't have a best argument. And if you can set your team towards this kind of a roadmap, you avoid the problem of too close to sun, staying too close to sun and getting burned out. What is that problem? That problem comes in interviews as, hey, we did this X, now ChatGPT or OpenAI offers it. And since OpenAI has launched it, our retention has gone 10% week on week down. We don't know what to do. What do you think we should do next? Your answer should be, you should plan your products in a way that as the AI improves, which we know it does, you go to 10x higher ROI tasks. Here I pay $25 per hour. Here I pay $250. And here I hire a law firm to do 25K work or 250K work. Yeah, and you are basically leveraging everything behind the scenes and you have a roadmap and you're waiting for them rather than being scared by them. And you have a story where you have done that in your life. And if you have all these, then you can be cool too. So it's like, we looked at what it takes to build a great taste. We looked at, gave you examples and challenges. And I gave you some real world stories to look at. And hopefully you can copy paste on your own and create your stories with great taste. We do this session, we did the course. We're starting our new certification tomorrow. It'll take 2 weeks to just digest, pick new projects. It's a hands-on lab and system design exercises and a lot of discussions on how to build the right AI products, how to frameworks to choose if you're in a company, where should you go build your first thing in AI, then go and create the roadmaps, which I was talking about here, which helps everybody to align and execute at speed, and then go and evaluate your agents and then price them right so that you can sell them as well. Everything on that. Plus, we do labs and we do system design, starting from basic agents to multi-agent systems with continuous learning. And we'll give you those 10 system design patterns. That's new this time. And obviously, we have 6, 7 hands-on lab. All that happens in one certification. That's starting tomorrow. If you want to join, you can join by clicking this link. After that, we will go and do 3 weeks of hardcore preparation. That's where we sharpen your stories, we sharpen your CV, we do mock interviews with you, or you do mock interviews with your friends. With the rubric we provide of how you are getting evaluated, we give all the standards and you get a score every week. So you can see week by week progress. And we stay with you till you achieve your goals. That's our promise all along. So if you want to join us there, thanks a lot. And that's pretty much it.